Hello students, myself Swati Agrawal, your science teacher. Today we are going to learn a new chapter in chemistry, that is matter around us pure? Now students, in the previous chapter we have learned about the matter, or we can say the classification of the matter on the basis of its physical properties. On the basis of the physical properties, matters was classified into three, that is the solid, liquid and gas. Now here in this chapter we will learn in detail about the matter of classification, or we can say the classification of the matter on the basis of its chemical properties. Now if you can see in the slide, the matter can be of the two types, that is the pure substance and the impure substance. Pure substance which have the fixed composition, and the mixtures, or we can say the impure, that is the no fixed composition. Now the pure substance is of two types, that is the elements and the compounds, and further elements are classified as the metals, non-metals and the metalloids. Elements are those which cannot be broken into the simpler substances, and the compounds which can be broken down into the elements by chemical or the electrochemical reactions. Now mixtures, we have the homogeneous and the heterogeneous mixtures. Under the homogeneous mixtures we have the solutions, and under the heterogeneous we have the colloids and the suspension. Now students, in the previous chapter we have learnt about the word matter. What was the matter? Matter is something which occupies some space and has some mass. Okay, so that was the matter. Now moving further, if we see some of the products which we buy daily from the market, that is the salt, pure ghee or milk or juice. So have you ever wondered, are these packets are pure or not? If you will see at the back of their packets, there one word is written, that is the pure. For a common person, we know that the pure means having no adulteration, or means there is a one single particle only which have not been mixed by the other. Okay, so according to some, these things are actually mixtures of the different substances, and hence these products are not pure. When we say that the something is pure, it means that all the constituent particles of that substance are the same in their chemical nature. A pure substance consists of a single type of particles. In other words, a substance is pure single form of the matter. Now students, till now we have learned about the pure substance. Now let us learn about the impure substance, that is the mixture. Now first question arises in our mind, that what actually the mixture is. Mixtures are constituted by more than one kind of pure form of the matter. That means mixtures are made. Constituted means that is made. Mixtures are made by more than one form of the pure matter. We know that, for example, let us know that dissolved sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is the common salt which can be separated from the water by the physical process of the evaporation. That is, when the common salt is mixed with the water, the common salt and the water can be separated from each other by the simple process, that is the evaporation. The sodium chloride is itself, now see, when the common salt and the water is separated. Now further, if we want to separate the constituents of the sodium chloride, we cannot do that. That means sodium chloride cannot be separated by the physical process into the chemical constituents. Similarly, sugar is a substance which contains the only one kind of the pure matter, and its composition is the same throughout. However, on the other side, if we take the soft drink or the soil, these are not the single pure substances. Whatever the source of a substance may be, it will always have the same characteristics property. Therefore, we can say that a mixture contains more than the one pure substance. Now students, depending upon the nature of the components that form our mixtures, we have the two types of the mixtures. Now let us discuss these types of the mixtures one by one. The first type of the mixture is the homogeneous mixtures. This is a mixture in which all the constituents of the mixtures are uniformly distributed throughout. That is, without any clear boundary of separation is called the homogeneous mixtures. In the homogeneous mixture, the constituents cannot be seen with the naked eyes or under a microscope. Some of the examples of the homogeneous mixtures are the salt solution, sugar solution, air, the soft drinks, petroleum. These are some of the homogeneous mixtures, and you can see in the pictures also some real life example of the homogeneous mixtures are given. That means the constituents of these mixtures are uniformly distributed. Uniformly means in the equal amount they are distributed. Now the other type of the mixtures are the heterogeneous mixtures. These mixtures are those that doesn't have the uniform composition. That is, they has the visible boundaries of the separation between its constituents. These types of the mixtures are called the heterogeneous mixture. Here, the constituents of the heterogeneous mixtures can be seen by the naked eyes or under a microscope. For example of heterogeneous mixtures are the sugar and the salt mixture. That means we can separate or we can see the sugar and the sand particles separately. So these are the heterogeneous mixture. Salt and the sand mixture, polluted air, muddy water, etc. These are all the heterogeneous mixtures. Now you can see on the side there are some of the real life example of the heterogeneous mixture. For example, the salad. Now there is a salad. In the constituents of the salad particles, they can be separated from each other. That means we can see these constituent particles from our eyes. Now students, let us discuss about the solution. What is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. You came across the various types of the solution in your daily life. For example, let us take a lemonade or the soda water. I think everybody likes the lemonade and the soda water. These are all the examples of the solution. Usually when we have a word solution, we always think of a solution as a liquid that contains either a solid, liquid or a gas dissolved in it. But you know that we can have the solid solutions also. Solid solution as in alloys. Now what are the alloys? These alloys are the mixtures of the two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal, and which cannot be separated into their components by any of the physical methods. So basically alloys is nothing but have the solid solutions. Gaseous solutions like the air, these are the gaseous solution. In a solution, there is homogeneity at a particle level. For example, lemonade tastes the same throughout. This shows that the particles of the sugar or the salt which are dissolved in a liquid, these are evenly distributed in the solution. Evenly distributed means these are equally distributed in the solution. That's why when we drink the lemonade, it tastes the same throughout the solution. Now the solution has the two main components, that is the solvent and the solute. Now what are the solvents? The solvents are the component which is usually present in larger amount in the solution. So these are the components of the solution that dissolves the other component in it is called the solvent. For example, let us take the lemonade only. In the lemonade liquid, or we can say the water, known as the solvent, because usually the solvent, that is the water, is present in a larger amount. So in the lemonade the water is considered to be as the solvent. Now what are the solute? The solute are those component which is usually present in the lesser quantity of the solution that is dissolved in the solvent is called the solute. So now again let us take the example of the lemonade. We know that in a lemonade water is known as the solvent, but the lemon, the few drops of the lemon and the sugar particles, these are the solute. That means these are in the lesser quantity. These are in the lesser quantity and they are getting mixed in the water. So that's why the lemon and the sugar particles, these are known as the solute. Now let us take some common examples of the solution which we commonly see in our daily life. First example is a solution of a sugar in the water. This type of the solution is a solid in the liquid solution. In this solution we can say that the sugar is the solute and water is the solvent, because the sugar is present in the lesser quantity and water is in the bigger quantity. So in this the sugar is being dissolved in the water. Next example, you can see a solution of the iodine in alcohol which is known as the tincture of the iodine. So now in this type of the solution, iodine as a solid, and we can consider the iodine as the solute, and the alcohol which is in the liquid form, that is known as the solvent. So it is a solid, again it is the solid liquid solution. Third common example is the aerated drinks like the soda water, or we can say the cold drinks which we drink. These are the gas in the liquid solutions. So these contains the carbon dioxide gas as a solute and the water liquid as the solvent. One more type of the example is the air. Air is a mixture of the gas in gas. Air is a homogeneous mixture of a number of the gases. It has two main constituents are oxygen and the nitrogen. The other gases are present in very small quantity. So these are some of the common examples of the solution. Now students, moving further, let us discuss about some of the properties of a solution. Now solution is a homogeneous mixture, as we know that. Next property of a solution is the particles of a solutions. These are the very small. That means even they are smaller than the 1 nanometer. 1 nanometer, that means 10 to the raised to the power minus 9 meter in the diameter. So as you can imagine that the particles of the solution are very smaller and they cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Because of very small particle size, they do not scatter a beam of light passing through the solution. So the path of the light is not visible in a solution. Just because these particles are very small, if we pass through a beam of light through the solution, the beam of light cannot be seen. The solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of the filtration. The solute particles do not settle down when left undisturbed. That is, a solution is stable. Now students, till now we have learnt about the solution, its properties and some of its example. Moving further, till now we have understand that in a solution the amount of the solute and the solvent can be varied. Now depending upon the amount of the solute present in a solution, that solution can be known as the dilute, concentrated or a saturated solution. Dilute and the concentrated are the comparative terms. Now at any particular temperature, a solution that has dissolved as much solute as it is capable of dissolving is said to be a saturated solution. If in the other words we can say that when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a particular temperature, it is known as the saturated solution. The amount of the solute present in the saturated solution at this temperature is known as its solubility. Now, if the amount of the solute contained in a solution is less than the saturation level, it is known as the unsaturated solution. Now, in the next slides, we will discuss how we can measure the concentration of the solution. Now students, there are various ways of expressing the concentration of a solution, but here we will learn only about the three methods. It is given following. First is the mass by mass percentage of a solution. So the formula to find out the concentration of a solution is, first is, if we divide the mass of the solution, mass of the solute from the mass of the solution multiplied by the 100, we can know the concentration of the solution. Next is mass by volume percentage of a solution. If we divide the volume of a solution, if the volume of the solution, the whole solution is given, that is the volume of the solution is divided by the mass of the solute multiplied by 100, then also we can find the concentration of a solution. And the third method, if we divide the volume of a solution from the volume of the solute and multiplied by the 100, then it is also the concentration of the solution can also be find out. So these are the three main common methods due to which we can find the concentration of the solution.